Before that, we have just 5 minutes for, Professor Devika will be. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that can be done, I think. Yeah, so I now invite Professor 80%. Yeah, that is better actually, sir. उनको ना पैनल के बाद बोल दो ना start. ऐसे?
कुछ पीपीटी प्रेजेंटेशन वगैरह कुछ है यहाँ पे रखा है कुछ. ओके. Good afternoon. Now we have to start the panel discussion. For that, I invite Dr. A.R.D. Prasad to be present on the dais. Dr. Sudarshan Rao, sir, please. Dr. N. Vardarajan, University Librarian, Hyderabad Central University. Sir, please. Dr. K. Ila Vasgan, sir, Librarian Chief Knowledge Officer. Yeah, it's difficult. Then Dr. Saiful Amin, CEO, Semantic Consulting. Semantic. बुके का नहीं है ना, कैसे रखने का था ना.
अच्छा, मोमेंटो बुके दोनों है, फिलहाल तो दे देंगे
पहले ही.
हाँ, मोमेंटो बाद एक साथ देंगे. ये बताइए, बुके फार्मर वेलकम कर दे, बुके देके.
नहीं, ये तो को
अच्छा सब देना है.
अच्छा. Now I request Dr. Adil Khan to present a flower pot to Dr. A.R.D. Prasad, moderator of the day. शायद आ जाए. इसके लगा देना. I request Dr. Adil Khan to present a flower pot to Dr. Sudarshan Rao, sir. Now, Dr. N. Vardarajan, sir. Now, Dr. Ila, sir. It's a very difficult to pronounce. Yeah. Dr. Saiful Amin.
Yeah. Hello.
There is a brief introduction of first moderator, Dr. A.R.D. Prasad. Dr. A.R.D. Prasad is a distinguished expert with 37 years of experience, including 29 years of teaching and research at the Indian Statistical Institute, ISI. He holds a PhD in library science along with an MA and MPhil in philosophy. Dr. Prasad has made significant contribution to digital libraries. He was a member of the DSpace Governance Advisory Board at MIT, USA, and has hosted an Ubuntu-based live DVD pre-configured with GSpace and Koha on SourceForge, which has been downloaded over 30,000 times from about 100 countries. He has also assisted in setting up a digital libraries for several prestigious institutions, including IITs, NITs, CSIR, and DRDO labs. Additionally, Dr. Prasad has conducted over 50 training workshops in various countries, including India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Tunisia, Malaysia, on behalf of organizations like UNESCO and Commonwealth of Learning. Please join me in welcoming Dr. A.R.D. Prasad as a moderator. Uh, our esteemed panelists are first one is Dr. Sudarshan Rao. Dr. Sudarshan Rao, he got BSc, MA, MLI, MLIC, PhD. Is presently the Tagore National Fellow, Ministry of Culture, Government of India. He served as a professor, head and chairman, Board of Studies in Library Information Science, Osmania University, Hyderabad. He was also the coordinator PG Diploma in Digital Information Management. He was formerly the UGC Emeritus Fellow and also the ICCSR Senior Research Fellow. He held various academic and administrative positions at Osmania University, such as Principal, University College of Art and Social Sciences, Additional Controller of Examination, and in charge Dean Faculty of Arts and also in charge Dean Faculty of Social Sciences, Osmania University. He served as a senior consultant at the National Council of Rural Institution, now Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education, MHRD, Government of India. He guided 14 PhD degrees and 14 MPhil degrees. He edited 18 monographs and published 84 articles in various journals and conference proceedings. He was the recipient of the Parvathini Gangadhar Rao Memorial Award 2009, At least Motivate Elias Best Teacher Award 2010, and Andhra Pradesh State Government Meritorious Teacher Award 2020. With these words, I welcome, sir. The second panelist in this session is Dr. N. Vardharajan. Dr. Vardharajan began his career as an assistant librarian at IIT Madras and later moved to the University of Hyderabad, where he currently serves as the chief librarian at the Indira Gandhi Memorial Library. He holds a PhD from the University of Mysore. Dr. Vardharajan's expertise lies in digital libraries and the use of AI to enhance library management and user experience. Please join me in welcoming Dr. N. Vardharajan, sir. The third panelist in this session is Dr. K. Ila. Dr. Ila, the librarian at the Institute of Management, Trichy. Dr. Ila holds a Doctor of Philosophy from Annamalai University and has an impressive career spanning several prestigious institutions. From 2009 to 2011, he served as the head of the library at the Goethe Institute German Library. Prior to that, he was an assistant librarian at the British Council Library from 1989 to 2009. Dr. Ila has made significant contribution to the field of library science with 5 publications, including journal articles, book chapters, and conference proceedings between 2011 and 2020. He has also been recognized with several prestigious awards, such as Emerald South Asia Alliance Research Fund Award from Emerald Publishing, UK. Dr. Harish Chandra Sushila Chandra National Best Librarian of 2017 from the Society for Advancement of Library Information Science. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Best Librarian Award from Neela Megan in association with the Kalam Sinthai Parvai. Please join me in welcoming Dr. K. Ella. Our last panelist in this session is Dr. Saiful Amin. He is the Director of Library Services of Semantic Consulting Services Private Limited, Bangalore. Dr. Amin is also a visiting faculty at the Documentation Research and Training Center, DRTC, Bangalore, a position he has held since 2011. Dr. Amin holds a BLS from AMU Aligarh and ADIS from DRTC, Bangalore, and a PhD in Library Information Science from the University of Pune under the guidance of Professor R.D. Prasad. With over 8 years of experience in academic libraries, including the Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, Dr. Amin has also worked for EduTech India Private Limited as a specialist in library automation and RFID systems. He has successfully implemented modern library system at several prestigious institutions, including IIT Madras, IIT Indore, IIT Bangalore, and GTRE Bangalore. Dr. Amin has provided training and consultancy services to libraries in India, Singapore, Thailand, Canada, UAE, Qatar, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. He has authored one book and several publications in international journals and conferences. His areas of interest include integrated library system, cataloging and authority control, data migration, metadata standards, and search protocols. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Saiful Amin. Now, sir, session is open for.
I can talk loud. Good morning to all of you. I feel definitely honored to meet so many library professionals as it pulls down my age by at least some 20 years. Okay. Firstly, I would like to thank Dr. Akhtar Parvez for inviting me to be here. And also, I am honored to have star-studded colleagues on the dais. Okay, fine. I'll be talking about evolution as Professor Devika has mentioned. Way back in 91 or so, we introduced a specialization in DRTC AI applications to library and information science. After that, of course, I myself did PhD in application of AI in indexing languages, especially POPSI side. And down the lane, I think another 4 research students did AI-based, including Anthony Jose did on converting AACR2 into a kind of an expert systems. Of course, those were days it was called knowledge-based computer systems. One good thing with computer science people is, as they work with artificial languages, they kill the natural language. Okay, knowledge is, I think, one of the most abused words by the computer science guys. Knowledge is something different. Even knowledge organization and all that, they keep on changing the terminology. I always feel the astrology people and management guys, they suffer from, they tell the same thing, but they have to keep on changing the language. Okay. Otherwise, who will entertain astrologer? Because nobody really predicts the future. That is the problem. But again, they have to tell elaborately. But if they tell in few words, nobody would be impressed by the astrologer. They have to blah blah a lot. Okay. Anyhow, the evolution of AI. Okay, those days, of course, I worked and my students also worked in these so-called KBCS or expert systems and natural language processing. But again, natural language processing was based on the grammar based, not, of course, there was statistical based NLP systems also, but we approached more Chomskyan grammars, generative, transformational grammars, and all those things. And we developed our own language, okay, for solving the natural language problems. Then I used to feel, I think before I die, I may not really see a natural language processing system. But again, all of a sudden, these large-scale language models, which are embedded with deep learning, okay, that is the machine learning. See, one of the things is how children pick up knowledge by imitating the elders. Okay, otherwise walking on 2 legs is very odd. Okay, but they see others walking on 2 legs, though they fall, they keep on attempting it. Even intelligence, language pickup, they learn by imitating. In the context, this is the expression. So one of the worst ways of teaching language in India is they go by grammar. And we had one terrible book called Wren and Martin. Okay, with that you can never learn language. That's why Indians always struggle to in killing English language. Okay, so but again, if you see that practical approach to grammar, that is the way I think children will pick up, because we don't teach them ABCD and the then A for alphabet to B for bomb or something like that. Okay, anyhow. Then the recent development are driven by two technologies, okay, which is deep learning, again, part of neural networks, and another is big data. Okay, now we have systems that rather they build clusters of computers to handle large amounts of data. So from large amounts of data, they can train the systems to learn. Because one of the dreams is how to make the system self-learning, which in the behavioral models of humans, they do self-learning by themselves. Okay. Whether we can build that systems, I think that was the dream. I think partially, I think the systems have been successful. And another technology came in the way, semantic web. Okay, semantic web technology, because we introduced semantic web in DRTC syllabus, and we conducted a conference on semantic web. Okay, then from Italy, one guy wrote, nowadays everybody organizes a conference on any topic. I thought, what kind of a rude letter he wrote. But again, I and Dr. Devika sat together and answered him in 3 pages. Much of the semantic web is based on metadata and ontologies, which are the bread and butter of librarians. Then he came with a 12 team and also offered to be the reviewers of that conference. And after that, he was so impressed by Ranganathan's facetization. Then he asked, can anybody teach in our computer science department library classification? Then Dr. Devika went on Erasmus Mundus Fellowship, and he attended every class. And after that, we proposed a European project on semantic web technology called Living Knowledge, okay, with the 12 other European universities. Anyhow, so semantic web technology, the ideal is the present-day search engines like Google with all its bells and whistles, or Yahoo and others, they throw web pages. If you make a search, they throw web pages. And even more ridiculous is they throw some 100 pages of results, and nobody with the sane mind, go beyond the 3 pages. That means the rest are as good as not retrieved. And even in the first 3 pages, if you find half a dozen relevant one, I say you take your family for a moonlit dinner, because it produces a lot of junk. So the idea of semantic web is, instead of throwing web pages, whether it can answer the queries. But again, the approach they have taken is completely metadata based and all that, which is labor intensive, which is costly. But LLMs took a different paradigm shift. Okay, they have, of course, they use statistical models. They take large corpora on the internet and try to derive. Even more amazing is they say generative AI. They produce summarization in English language. Okay, many people say don't trust it. Hey, it produces better English than many of our my colleagues. What I say is, sometimes see, many people say, oh, you should not trust the machines. But again, you should not trust your colleagues also. Okay, because even people who write textbooks with boldly, they write a lot of mistakes. Okay, everybody says, don't trust internet information. And these are some of the myths we try to enjoy. Okay, but again, that is not the case. But again, I feel really this is one of the biggest steps. Everybody was talking whether Google will be there once AI comes. To be honest, instead of searching on Google, I go to Meta AI on WhatsApp and enter the query. And it is also true, the ethical questions. Sometimes Meta AI gives evasive answers because they may end up in political problems. Somebody sues them. So I asked a question, why Anna Hazare is silent on corruption nowadays? There are other issues I cannot answer. I thought, this fellow is smart not to invite any legal issues. Okay. And it happened once already, okay, about some politician. It gave yeses to something like he is a dictator. Then I thought that is fairly good. Being evasive, even humans also, of course, maybe I am an exception to talk a spade, but normally many people try to be evasive in answering. Okay, now So the traditional AI, you can say 1950s to 2000. Why 50s is one of the dreams of Russians is how to get translation of English, and Americans is how to translate Russian so that they can watch each other. Okay, this is the so-called Cold War period. But there were many jokes about the AI, because one advantage is you put it in Russian, English, and again translate it back, you should get the same answer, or at least similar answer with the same meaning. So there was this one, body, there is a biblical statement, now body is weak, but the spirits are high. They translated into Russian and came back. Then spirits, it translated vodka. Vodka is good, but mutton is rotten. These kinds of jokes, a lot of things came on machine translation. But again, after that, now, in fact, even if you enter, see, humans have a lot of error tolerance. Even if I speak wrong Hindi, but people understand with context and my body language, many are intonation, everything, they try to guess what this fellow is trying to tell. But again, at the same time, even if you speak impeccable language, people may misunderstand you also. Both are possible. But I find with my experience with Meta AI, even if spelling mistakes are there or the sentence construction is wrong, it understands and gives the answer. It tries to. It's completely garbled English, probably nobody can understand. Okay, even humans won't understand, machine also won't understand. That's why I feel that way the AI systems are pretty good. And see, one of the problems in the beginning of AI, when I worked in that about 35 years back, they think that problem solving techniques humans have, if you capture and put it in the system, then everything is, then they could not identify what exactly problem solving techniques humans use. Because one of the greatest problems with the AI is, even if they want to develop behavioral models that is based on human behavior, do you know how do you think? We do not know. Okay, for example, if I ask how many Kirk Douglas movies or some other, I might have seen some 10, but I recall only 5. While having a bath or while eating, all of a sudden I remember the 6th one. But now tell me, what is the retrieval technique you have used to pull out the 6th one? We do not know, because we do not know how do we think. That is the greatest problem. That's why one philosopher says, an eye cannot see itself, and a foot cannot step on itself. Mind can never understand itself. So don't fund any research in AI. Okay. These are some of the philosophical debates of earlier. But now the approach is completely machine learning based, neural networks. Then you have big data, large scale data processing, and all that really made the first thing is much of the LLMs, that is language, large scale language models, are based on data driven. They have data from the internet, and so if they find internet some wrong information, probably what you get is wrong information. Like our old adage, gigo, no, garbage in and garbage out. If internet has garbage, so the other day I and Dr. Saiful Amin were discussing, there is something called collective bias. Okay, for example, if some religion or political party gives a lot of propaganda on internet, then you get that party is one of the greatest parties because it is full of bias. So it cannot do beyond what is how to make the systems not to be influenced by bias. That is very difficult. These are all subjective thinking. Okay, anyhow, fine. Then wide range of question answering systems. So another thing is typos, erroneous syntax, and all that it can. And of course, most of the popular ones everybody knows nowadays is ChatGPT. And another thing, ChatGPT guys, they say open AI, there is nothing open in that. Okay, that is a misleading. .com, that is the one which you should look at, because then you have Gemini. Earlier it was called Google Bard. Now it is called Gemini. Okay. Then of course readily available one is the WhatsApp Meta AI. Okay, first thing I do that. For everything, instead of going to Google, I go for Meta, because Google also gives the web pages which are biased also. This fellow summarizes that one. So the source is same junk, both of them handle. Okay, fine, anyhow. So, but again, AI-based apps, if you open Android or any other, because I don't like Apple, so I don't want to mention, okay. I mean, I feel biggest villain in the industry was Steve Jobs. Okay, anyhow, that's a different personal opinion. But what I say is AI-based apps. I think if you go to Google Play, number of them. Some of them are priced, some of them are not. See, you know the tricks the commercial guys plays. They keep it free until it becomes bug-free. After that, they say you pay. Okay, that like if you go to sweet shop, they force taste or taste like that. Once we taste, I want a kg like that. Okay, that is the technique. Many of these business guys. So AI can be, as I think our Professor Garg was mentioning, many things in every library science aspect. You ask questions. Then I thought, what questions I can ask on library cataloging. So I gave it to ChatGPT. Okay, what questions I can ask to ChatGPT on library cataloging? It pulls out all the questions. Pick up the questions you want. That means something like similar to tautology, begging the question. So you beg AI itself. Hey, what can I ask? Okay, like the Pandavas go to Bhishma, how to kill you? Then that fellow tells you, this is the way to kill me. Okay, so ChatGPT also, you can ask, hey, what questions I can expect from you? Okay, so for example, library practitioners, you can ask, what are the best practices of digitization? Or compare OCR software, because I want to buy, or otherwise, okay, I want to buy RFID. What are the Indian vendors selling RFID? It gives the list of vendors. So for the practitioners, it is fairly good. Or otherwise, for teachers, okay, list the MOOCs on library management or bibliography on data management, because that is one of our specializations in DRTC on data management, health informatics, corporate information systems. These are our specializations. Then, of course, citations he was telling, but one thing he was right, Dr. Garg. If I ask, okay, few months back, if I say I want a Mark 21 record for so and so title with author or ISBN, it was giving. Now those OCLC guys and all that chased them. As Saiful also was mentioning, yeah, you are taking our content and summarizing, and you are not paying us anything. Okay, so now you don't get answer. Earlier, I was thinking, how about developing some APIs to extract a bunch of ISBNs I put, and it pulls out Mark 21 records or Dublin Core records. But that's not possible. And it says you go to WorldCat, you go to this, you go to that, and ask. That means they are all paid services. So that is not, but citations for a particular book, sometimes it gives, okay, you want an MLA or this one APA or some format or Chicago style sheets and other things. So you pick up any topic in library science, and first question is, what can I ask you? Then it will give the list of questions and you get the answers. But some of the legal challenges, okay, as I just mentioned, some of the fellows are questioning, how can you take the content from us and distribute, okay, our ethics. As I told, that is not ethical, rather political. Why some Anna Hazara is silent? That is more a political question, but they don't want to get into controversies. But means it is sensitive to some of these questions. Or negative, some people say, what are the negative implications? Actually, I may not completely agree with the earlier speaker. It creates more jobs because behind it requires more people. If it requires more, nobody invests. Then they keep the cheap labor of India only. Okay. After all, India is many people say it's a cyber coolies are generated from here because we don't have any software product, only services, turnkey jobs. Of course, that you get by paying bribes. Then, so the challenges is it does summarization. That is one thing good. Actually, I used to oppose some of the UK universities in library science. They used to teach abstracting. Indexing, fine. Abstracting, we cannot. I don't understand some article in bibliometrics because the moment I see formulas, I faint. Okay, where is the question of making abstract for chemistry, physics subjects, which is rubbish. I think this topic should not be taught at all. But UK universities were doing. Now, that kind of problems, you throw it AI. But he was right. You tell in 100 words or you tell in 2 pages, it does. Okay, understanding is one thing, but can it be innovative? Of course, they are saying that it can generate pictures nowadays. I think on YouTube, you can say Draupadi means some slim girl or something. All that comes. But again, can it be innovative in scientific research? Then, of course, that is the end of it. Okay. Otherwise, depending on, because after all, scientists are also, some of them are very dull-headed fellows. Okay. We always say we are the most glamorous institute, but I know we have a lot of dullheads as our colleagues. I mean, in every department. But if AI can be innovative in scientific research, probably that is amazing. But again, we have to be kind. After all, AI is at a toddler stage. We cannot expect overnight wonders from it. Maybe down 5 or 10 years, it becomes more pervasive and ubiquitous. Okay. So many people say again, of course, he addressed that also. What happens to libraries? They disappear. First thing is, this is a long debate. Okay. Even Lancaster used to say a paperless society. After that, he contradicted himself, leaving that apart. But one thing is, nothing is permanent in this world. Will there be mankind after 100 years? Doubtful. The way we became cancer to the earth, no, we may not be there at all. Okay, for example, every year in Bangalore, no, some Kaveri water, then they round up all Tamil fellows and beat them up. Okay, because there is how many rivers can support such a huge population? But the problem is economists, more population, more market. That is the only way they look at it. They don't understand we have finite resources, and this population growth kills everything. Okay, anyhow, leaving that. So form versus content. One thing is, as long as mankind exists, which is doubtful, information need exists. And when you have plethora of information, probably you require information processing people. Platform may be different. I mean, it could be a physical library or internet or something like that. But there should be some people to process information and do it. Some tasks definitely AI is done, but whether we can teach the system machine learning through machine learning, some of the tasks to be assigned. So with that, I think I invite my other colleagues. And before I conclude, I would like to thank MANUU for facilitating this workshop. And of course, Nimbus for supporting financially and make it. And definitely Dr. Akhtar Parvez and my friends on the panel, okay, and also the participants. I always love to see other library professionals. Now I invite Dr. Ila to express his opinions. I am putting him in the top order because he may have to rush to catch his flight. So thank you, Dr. Ila. Please continue.
Most respected moderator of the panel discussion 1, and respected panelists, and most respected senior professors sitting off the dais, and professionals, researchers, students from various institutions across the country or within this region. Very good afternoon. It's a pleasure and honor to share my opinion on the topic AI. I'm not an expert. I'm a practicing professional who deals only library-related matters. So that is the message I want to give it to you before I start my opinion or share my opinion. And already I think we have had enough on AI and how it is really influencing on the library matters. What I'll do is I take a couple of examples where I experienced, and probably that will give some kind of insight and then questions then you can try to find out an answer. In case if you don't have an answer, I may not be the right person, the panelist or the moderator is the right person to give an answer. Right? With this, I'll start. The first thing, I'm coming from the B school guy. So generally what we do is, our expectation is, we try to get some quality product with the least price. That's what we want, the quality at extreme quality, but we don't want to pay price for that. If the price of the product is 100 rupees, I try to convince and make it or try to get it for 10 rupees. This is general phenomena in any B school guys. No, we have actually a practice. We have one of the activity that we have is we are publishing a magazine. It's an annual magazine for particular activity. So there is a budget and we try to give this to outside guy who is a designer and then printer. So he has to design and print and give it to us. And for the designing purpose and printing purpose, he will chart, he will tell what is the theme. The cover has to bring that particular theme so that people need not actually bother too much inside the content. Sometimes there will be rubbish content. So at least people can see the cover page, understand what is this particular magazine contains on this particular issue. This was the basic idea. And we have been spending a lot of money. And last time what we have done is we tried our experiment in paying money to this designer. Why not we can use an AI? We did an experiment. So we give an input to the AI saying that we need a cover page and theme is Panchabhutas. Like you have to actually, this is what we have to prepare a cover page and this is the Panchabhuta is the theme. And we don't want to some kind of fascinated picture image. It should be some kind of watercolor marking. And that's all we are given. And it has given 3 or 4 actually version of the theme based picture. And what we have done is we try to actually refine again and again. It will help us to refine. What is happening? I have spent quite a lot of money. It is not only the money matter, but also I have to spend a lot of time with the designer. I have to explain to him. He has to actually understand what I try to reach him. Then he has to bring back to me. I have to send him back saying that this is not I'm expecting. And this is the way it has to be there. And it will go hands and forth and takes a lot of time. And finally, that fellow says something, then I have to accept and pay the money. But the advantage of the content, I don't want to go to the designer. I just spend a couple of minutes in AI. It helps me to provide extraordinary. For me, it's an extraordinary. For outsiders, it may not be an extraordinary. For me, it's an extraordinary cover page with reflecting the exact theme which I want to convey to the user community or the reader. It provided. So one is the AI really helping the person who want to spend less money. I'm not bothered about other things. And also whatever that I want to reflect or whatever that I want to communicate to the outside, I can able to communicate without paying nil paisa. But what is happening? This is not an issue. The issue is different. So since I have given only input, I take the credit. It is a copyrighted material of the institute. I make it very clear. It is not my, I'm just giving only input. It is not my creation. I have not created anything at all. Based on this input, it created. Now the question comes, I take the pride that it is a copyright material. Now somebody can make an argument. This is happening everywhere. And we don't have proper answer for that. Just because giving input, I cannot claim I'm not the owner because machine cannot consider as the owner of the creation of the particular document or product. That's what somewhere the copyright says, Copyright Act says. So now I have a doubt ethically whether I can take the pride, it is my product, or I have to somewhere mention it is developed by AI. So these are the issues that we have to actually answer. And let me move on to the second experience that I have. I think all of you know that there is one of the best libraries in the country, Asian libraries, Saraswati Mahal. Many of you heard about it. It was developed in 16th century by Nayaks. And then later it was actually taken over by Marathas, who actually ruled that particular area. And that particular library have different type of documents in different format. Mostly, predominantly, they have palm leaf. and handwritten documents plus rare collection. And those rare collections are kept, and the funding was very, very minimal because government has priority on other areas. So there is a conservator who used to actually take care of those precious material because it reflects the whole history. You cannot get all those things from the AI or latest web pages. You have to go there and then access those things. And once if you lost, you have lost ever, particularly the history, culture, all those things. Some of them are extraordinary medical documents are there. But the guy who is actually there, he takes care of periodical treatment. Conservator, he takes the periodical treatment. And what is happening? That fellow has retired. The person who is actually one of the best conservator in the country who retired. As usual, the government is not willing to replace. Now the question is all those documents crying for treatment. And the person who is the person in charge may not be that type of skillful because he doesn't have an experience. He might be having some kind of the theoretical knowledge, which is not essential for give proper treatment. There, I think AI really supports. When he actually asking, this is the material, it was actually developed on this particular period, and is approximately this is the age of this, and this is the condition. The moment he gives all those input, it really helps him to induce him what type of treatment you have to give, when you have to give, what is the periodicity it gives. So that means it also helping us, even the skill set is not decoded to the next generation, the AI will help us to keep intact of having all those knowledge. And may I just move on to the third example. We all have a concern that the younger generation, particularly digital natives, are lost the reading habit. This is a real concern. And we also lost the reading habit. Reading in the sense, whether it's a digital content or print content, we lost. There is no second thought about it. Except the people like him, maybe actually the Quraishi reader, they will start reading it. If you're asking me, I'm not reading anything. What normally we do is we view the content generally or browse the content, and we come to an assumption that I know everything. And same thing we have seen, which is reflected on the younger generation. They never actually read anything. Whether it's a digital content, they are more actually interested in digital content. They never read, they only browse it. And general opinion, general comment that we say that the younger generation not at all reading, and they are not creative, they are not analytical. These are the general perception, and we keep on putting that. I have seen in a different version, and I have seen practically, there is a library which is developed or started functioning last year, 2023 in Madurai. It is one of the largest public libraries in Tamil Nadu. It is called the Kalaignar Centenary Library. And we have Anna Centenary Library, which is one of the best library in Asia. One of the best libraries in Asia. It has got its own uniqueness. But I'm coming to this one. After this inauguration was over, it's a public library. And within 1 month, 1 lakh visitors, or within 1 month, a public library have the visitor of 1 lakh plus. Their issue is, that the point is, most of them are family members. Generally, people who have more interest to read the newspaper, magazines, leisure reading, or people who are preparing for the examination, they will go to the library. The kids and then other people may not go. But that, strangely, out of this 1 lakh member, 60% of the people, 60,000 plus people are visited along with the family member. I'm just coming to the point. All those kids are more interested. There's a third floor exclusively for the kids section. We have the impression that the kids are not reading. Kids are not creative. Kids are impulsive. They're impatient. They need instant reaction. All those things that we keep on telling. And I have seen in a different way of approach, different way of scenario. Out of the 60,000 people who visited the library, and most of them are kids, and they go to the library, and that section has completely integrated with a lot of technology. Section, because they know exactly how you have to pull up the interest of the kids. Now, what is happening? the kids, I'm just give one tool which is integrated with that particular section. There is something called a sandbox. The white sand kept in a box where the kids will go and then play with that. And it is actually integrated with an AR technology and AI. And kids goes and then play with that. And the moment they put the sand like this, kind of cubics, and do something like this, and started learning how this land becoming a hill and how the rivers are actually formed. So they shows interest. When the kids comes, you can ask them, just randomly people started asking, what is that you play with that? They said, I'm not only playing, I also learn how these actually hills are formed and how the rivers are formed and what kind of colors. So perception that we have is that they are not reading. They are reading in experimental way, provided there is an opportunity for them. There, I think probably AI will help to eliminate the concept, eliminate some kind of perception that we have. Kids are not reading. Kids are reading in experimental way, but provided you have to integrate the technology, dominantly AI. The last point, I'll just finish it. I have the library, 70,000 square feet, 5 levels. And it has got only, when I started, it was only 400 students. And everybody started laughing at me. For 400 students, this fellow starting 70,000 square feet. Somehow he is able to convince the management and the director of all these people. And he is developing, even next 10 years, this is a B school, only PG and research students. Maximum they are not to cross 1,000. And this fellow is wasting money. And what is happening for me? And I provide all those, B schools are providing all the materials, whether it's a textbook, course material, everything given in the classroom itself. And all the electronic resources, including databases, company, all those things they can access sitting at the place where they are. There is no need that they have to come to the physical library to access these resources. So people asking a lot of questions. Why you are wasting a lot of money? Because every month I have to pay 2 lakhs rupees for electricity alone if I run the library overnight. So people asking me, this much of cost, you are already occupying so much of space and your running cost goes up. And in spite of number of students is very less, you start. There probably it helps me, or it's going to help me. The AI is going to help me. How? There is something called, we all know that, ethnography research. How this behavior or individual generally we observe when the students started. I'm sorry. I think my voice level goes up. When the students coming into the college, into the institution, they have their own way of a group. And over the period of time, the group will actually change. And it will be, interaction will be one-to-one, one-to-many. And after 3 months, all those things will get changed again. And the behavior of individual accessing the information also slowly changing the way they are actually interacting. We found one small information social way of learning is more effective. And if you really want to bring the people into the library, because I also have the compulsion that it's a big building, you have to increase the footfalls. Otherwise, every day I have to go and give an answer to everyone. So to bring the footfalls, increase the footfalls, the ethnography research really helps. There are a lot of data we have collected, both structured as well as unstructured data, which really helps, okay, what type of students are coming, at what intervals they actually change, and what is that exactly the need. And if you start actually giving those, they are not asking any information, they are not interested accessing any databases, nothing, because they have access. So we find one small thread, they need space, very simple. I am coming here to sleep, simple. I am coming here, don't put any kind of rules. I am coming here to work with my friends. I am coming here to get clarity on the particular topic with the faculty or peer students. I need a space to interact with outsiders who is actually delivering lecture. I am coming here to do my assignment with the group of people. I am coming here, I need a space to do my club activities. So once if you understand this, probably the unstructured data, which really help us to identify what exactly they need. And based on that input, I have not used AI, probably AI may help us to fine tune these spaces. So we have different spaces which really provide all those things. I'm sure that AI is also going to help us to fine tune these type of activities. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm extremely sorry. My apologies for trying to cut you short. But again, you may miss the flight also. Helpful to you. Okay. Now I request Dr. Varadarajan to say a few words. Please restrict your talk to about 5 to 7 minutes.
Good afternoon to all on the dais, of the dais, and my professional colleagues. I would like to point out some of the area we can adopt the AI in our day-to-day administrative activities. Instead of going for search and data retrieval, that is a lot of things are there. A lot of people we used to talk all those things. Whereas this is a crucial area for the administrator. In a library, suppose you are procuring a book, our is concerned, every year we are spending for book around 3 crore. These are the amount has to be distributed to each and every department. We used to get the intent from the department. What is happening, suppose if I 7 lakh rupees allotted for that mathematics. Sometimes what is happening, they are sending for around 40 lakhs, 50 lakh of intent. Going through all the intent and checking everything is quite difficult. With the limited manpower, it is quite difficult. Therefore, if you integrated AI, if you give the login and password ID to the department, when they are entering the data, now the best way is to put the ISBN number. That's all. Immediately all the data will appear, the price will appear, then the amount will be deducted from the their budget. They can also easily monitor. That way we can save it. Then moreover, then the catalog entries. Now you see here for the book, which are with multilingual. Now we are, suppose there is a Hindi, Urdu books, what we are doing, we are transliterating. Same other way, we are typing with the same Hindi and Urdu. Since the AI can handle everything, any language you can put. Automatically that will take it. That kind of things we can do that. Because actually I spoke with that VTL person, Sanda Kumar, he told that these are the things are possible. We can do that. Only thing is we have to integrate. We have to integrate, each and every library activities, they have to tune for your own. For your own, that the institution. Then other thing is this transaction, book transaction, how many books they borrowed. Now, the important thing is day-to-day activities, because of NAC and other thing, every 3 months I had to submit the report. They used to ask us how many faculty visited, how many students visited, whether these are the things are possible, how many books are borrowed by faculty, student, all the detail I had to provide. Whereas if you, I can also take it. The thing is, each and everything I had to generate. Whereas if you integrated with then input with the AI, all the things within single button, I can get it all the result. Otherwise, I have to use a lot of manpower. Other important area is stock verification. You know that it is a very tedious, whereas the central governments are there, every year they will ask. Every year you will ask. We already started our stock verification since our collection is more than 50. Only every 3 years, with the 10% of the collection. We have around 3.5 lakh book. Now 35,000. Our Prasad is here. I have given it last June. Deadline is July 15. So far, they have not submitted. Group of people, around 12 people, the group of people are they are collecting all the detail. It is quite cumbersome for using the manpower. It is very easy. I have read it to 4-5 articles. In 2018, 19, they use our smartphone using that app. We can scan it. If it is having barcode and RFID, it is very easy to scan. Otherwise, taking the laptop or the system to each and every rack, it is quite difficult. With a single your mobile with the app, just you can scan it everything. Then other rules we got to apply. When you are taking the start verification rule, the thing is every 1,000 book volume which is consulted or borrowed, that loss is 5 books are permissible, but 5 book can be loss. It is a genuine thing, so we can do that. We had to tune with the AI, all those things. These are the rule we had to tune it. Other thing is there, the book cost. You know that we are eligible to keep only 1,000 rupees value of the book. More than 1,000, we had to separate. We had to separate. These are the things are getting lot of manpower. When it is there generated, these are the books are lost. These are the books. We never say it is lost. We used to say it is missing. That's all. We have to say. We should not say until otherwise the last end. We have to say that it is missing. This can be traceable. We have to say that. The audit rules are very, very strict. It is quite difficult to cope up with the audit people. They will put a lot of queries. Therefore, then we can ask the AI, what are the books they're missing? All the list, the book listed with below 1,000 and below, we can get the list. The book costing more than 1,000 and more, we can get it. Then another rule, 5 book, we can omit it. 5 book, every 1,000 book, 5 book can be permissible to omit. Then other thing is there, when we are going for that above 2,000, then another one rule is there. It is very much important. You see here, depreciation value. Whether you have heard about all those things, depreciation value, it is very much important. You see here, the books, these are the rule framed in, I think, 1980 something. Therefore, they put it 1,000 rupees. The book cost is 1,000 rupees. Now which book we will get it in Science and Technology, whether the books are available 1,000 rupees? It is quite difficult. What we have to do that, the depreciation value, it is a very important thing. For book, every year, the depreciation value is 10%. Please note down. Every year, the depreciation value is 10%. Then after 10 years, the value will be 0. Because you have to note down this point, as a college librarian, they will punish you. The private, the institute, if the book is lost, they will punish you. That is a big problem. From your salary, they will get the amount. You have to be very careful. You have to say that this is a rule. As per audit, this is a rule. Please note down. Okay, every year, the depreciation value will reduce 10%. For the e-book and other things, 40% per year. After 2.5 years, there is no value. Okay, as a librarian, these are the things can be tuned, because I already gave it around 2 months so far. Our people are not completed. If it is artificial intelligence, we input inside. All the things I can. Once we have to collect the data, through barcode or that RFID, you have to get the data. Once you put it, immediately the result will come. Once you put it, that is enough. These are the rules. Just you put it on tune it on the AI. This is enough. Within a second, we will get another report that can be submitted to there. Otherwise, each and every time I had to refer the record. Suppose the book cost, what are the book costs? I had to go to the register. I had to note down everything. Then one has to calculate. These are the things are very cumbersome that will take more time. Therefore, these are the area for administrative activities. We can use it. It is possible. It is possible. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Varadarajan. Okay, now I invite Dr. Sudarshan now to say a few words about this. Yeah. I am trying to say a bit late because we are supposed to conclude by 1:15. Now we are already 1 part. 1:50. And 2 more speakers. No, but I think we should.
A very good afternoon to you all. Our esteemed, very senior professionals on the dais, as well off the dais too. Yeah. Professor Prasad, the chairperson of the moderator of this panel discussion of today's program, and Dr. Varadarajan ji, Dr. Ela Vazagan, he just now spoke before you from Trichy. I am Trichy. And Dr. Saiful Amin is a semantic consultant with a rich experiences in IT sector. My teacher, Professor Lakshman Rauji, Dr. Akhtar Parvez, and many other senior professionals, Dr. Gunjal and many others. Dr. Devika ji, ladies and gentlemen. It's an opportunity for me to present before you a few of my impressions on artificial intelligence, AI, very popularly we call AI. To begin with, what I really would like to say is that without our knowledge, we are immersed into the AI. We are sailing through the AI. We are not aliens to AI. Now it is part and parcel of our life or activity. Essentially for the library professionals, we are making use of AI probably unconsciously. That we have to admit. Now I just try to illustrate to you because the time given to me is very little. Now, just many of us, we the library professionals, of course, we take pride for being in the profession as library professionals because we are the information providers to society. We are the knowledge providers to society. We are helping the society to become a knowledge society. We are helping the society to come up with greater innovations and many more things. We are part and parcel of that. Okay. In the morning also we are telling that the library professionals are the knowledge custodians, very specifically, not information custodians, not the book custodians. That's what they say. I mean, of course, you are on the threshold or gateway of the knowledge. You know what to give to the people. In the process of providing information, we are making use of AI and other tools like just some examples. Like I have many things to put before you. Honestly, say for example, we have been using Grammarly. I think many of you must be really using it, isn't it? So your text and your document is comfortably edited. If you have to give to a language expert to edit it, how much money you have to spend to that fellow? And how much time that particular language expert will take to correct and give you? You are instantly, immediately, real time, you have been really getting your document refined, edited in the way you really want it. Like Okay. There are many advantages like that. Say, for example, what happens, there is a big document is there, you want a kind of, its excerpt or a kind of abstract is required. You are getting support of it. You have a particular document and on the related issues on the same team, you want some references, you are going to get it. So the productivity, the efficiency levels of our own work is well enhanced. That is to be correctly understood. Now here there are many issues are there. Now there are many advantages. I don't want to really talk to you about all of them. Now if you want to kind of, I think in the morning also our our chief guest and then the keynote address speaker also, they really give us lot many things like how the AI we are really been using it. Say there is a kind of text is there, you don't want to read it, somebody should really read out for you. I think that's a facility for you. You have a kind of document, you want to really prepare your PPTs. There's a kind of support mechanism is there for you. Why should you really spend? So if I used to really do it on my own for PPT presentations, sometimes what happens, it may take about a few hours, at least one day. Sometimes I used to spend on that. If I'm not happy, I redo it again, do it, something like that. These things are coming handy for you. Quite a good number of our library activities, our library services, now we are making use of the AI. Therefore, what I really want to plead before you is that, yes, we are in the AI era, we are in the AI age, and we have to make use of it. And to that effect, what really happens is we need some kind of a clear awareness on that, a clear orientation on that, a clear way of learning about these AI tools through our curriculum. I think it has to really become part and parcel of our programs. And that should be even from the elementary level. That is my personal impression. So a child should really come to know about how to make use of AI in the beginning days only, not necessarily only having come to the higher education level, maybe a degree or PG level, not required. I think our information needs and requirements are really been there right from the childhood and onwards. So from that time onwards, we should be able to really slowly, try to imbibe the kind of spirit of how best they should be able to really make use of it. I think they will be really drawing some charts, they will be drawing some kind of maps, they are preparing some kind of descriptions. They have their own requirements are there. I think for all of them, things will be really coming to handy. Therefore, what I really want to really communicate from here is that, what really happens here is, I think this is a clear example, the similarity, what I really find is, now we are talking about AI, and maybe the language or the jargon could be something slightly, probably we may be thinking it may be something different. It's just nothing but we are talking about here only our information discovery, information access. That's really going to keep on it, and that we have been doing it in the area called information retrieval systems. I think this information retrieval systems, well, that's exactly that happened. Now we have a database of information, we have search techniques and search tools are there, and then we are really searching our information, how pinpointedly, how accurately, whatever we really want, how best we are retrieving is. Of course, now we have got a bigger database, we have LLMs, large language models are there, and then of course making use of all of them, we are trying to do a better job. So this could be a kind of transcendency, probably, a kind of moving from here to there. Like the information retrieval systems have been really transcending over to artificial intelligence with a bigger technology, with this kind of AI technology and large language models. I think the same thing we have studied in our expert systems quite long ago. So this was there for us for quite ago. Maybe the medical expert system, probably they were very, very popular. Even Prasad was mentioning, I think we have catalog expert systems are there. I think that's exactly the expert knowledge kept in the form of database. And then the most important aspect in the AI domain is that you need to know how to prompt the AI system to give you the exact information what you are seeking for. So this is what exactly where we have to learn. There must be a clear orientation. We need to make use of it. We have to really try to understand what are the basic tools are there, how best we should be able to make use of them. I think these days social media also is really been coming handy for us to learn these things, even though there cannot be a formal imparting of some kind of training, but this should really become part and parcel of our curricula in the future days. And AI will be with us, and we are into it, and we have to make use of all these things so that our productivity, our efficiency, and the time and the cost and many more things can be there. We can be improved on that. Our services will be really improved. I just don't want to take much time because Prasad will be very keen to me, and he may be asking me, sir, you are a teacher, you will take much time. Sorry. Thank you very much. Thankful.
Thank you, Professor Sudarshan Rao. Now I request Dr. Saiful Amin for the swan song.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity, and to the organizers for inviting me, especially Dr. Akhtar Parvez. So I think I have the tough task of keeping people away from their lunch for too long, so I'll try to finish as quickly as possible. So I am basically a library technologist almost for like 15, 20 years. So I will keep my perspective to it. What AI, I think why we are talking about it in the first place. So we in the morning, Professor Gerg has mentioned about how we are using AI in a lot of places already, and on our daily life from morning to evening. In fact, I would say we are using AI even for 20 years. Most of us are using for more than 10 years, as long as you have been using Gmail, for example. If you use spam filters, where you basically mark some email as a spam, they go to the spam folder, and then the system trains itself. If they get a similar message, it says, okay, automatically it will go to spam instead of coming to the inbox. So that is the earliest example most of us already use. And there are so many other places we already use without realizing it, that we are using AI in our stuff. So why we are talking about it is mostly because of ChatGPT. Because if ChatGPT didn't happen last year, I don't think we would be having this conference today. So I asked ChatGPT, what is AI? To be frank, so how do you define it? So it basically says, well, it gave up one paragraph. So I just read the first line. It says AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are designed to learn, think, learn, and adapt. Basically, that is the essence of it. So how these spam filters or YouTube recommendations or or if you start typing in a mobile keyboard, it suggests what is the next word it should be. It automatically guesses. This all happens via that. And how it happens is by having large set of data accumulated. They learn the language and then try to model around it. And they are all kind of a subset of something called machine learning. So machine learning has been around for decades, and at least for a couple of decades, which is used in different fields, from climate modeling for prediction of weather, medical imaging, radiology, and even autonomous vehicles or self-driving cars, which Tesla have. All of them are examples. They're used in drug discovery, investments, and a lot of other fields. So one of the areas of machine learning, which is called neural networks, that neural network is also around for a long time, and that was basically used for deep learning, what I was mentioning. That is deep learning is a method to achieve human-like thinking in machines. And another sub area of that is called generative AI, and that some of the speakers already mentioned, which is generative AI is just to mimic the human way of communication, basically language-based thing. But neural network has already been used for many of the areas which are they used for solve some problems which were thought as impossible earlier for computing, because computers are used in many fields for decades, almost like five, 6 decades. But there are some problems they always thought of as have a large supercomputer, have large computing power, throw the data, crunch the data, get some things out of it, and all that. But there are some problems, those what we call is brute force of computers, they could not solve. When I was in college, we used to, when computers first time defeated the world chess champion in '97, I read about an article which said computer can never defeat a Go player. Go is a board game played mostly in China and Korea, which has much complex than chess for machines, but easy for humans to play, because even child plays, 5-year-old kids plays Go. But the data is so huge, machines cannot crunch that much data in time to predict moves. It requires pattern recognition, long-term strategy, which computer could not solve. Finally, 2016, DeepMind, a company called DeepMind owned by Google, they built a machine which was finally could beat the world champion in Go in 2016. And there is a very good YouTube documentary on that called AlphaGo, the movie. It has some 35 million views. You should watch it, just 1.5 hours one, but beautifully. So what they did is they, instead of going through the brute force attack, they used human-like thinking approach. And even when they were able to beat the Go world champion, they could not believe it that it was possible. They thought it's probably take another 10, 20 years for computers to achieve. So neural networks were able to achieve something which traditionally was thought impossible. There are also medical, like AlphaFold, another project of DeepMind, which has some protein 3D protein folding structures, which is used in drug discovery and disease analysis. They also built some 3D model, which was thought impossible for machines to do. So there are many things they were done ahead of time because of neural network, which computers were earlier thought was not capable of. So the tools like ChatGPT and Gemini, these are all recent breakthrough, mostly which can generate content which resembles human-like. That is where its charm is. They use mostly something called large language model, which basically crunches the languages to understand how humans communicate, and they build upon that. And why this has taken the world by storm is because before these large language models, AI was always a domain of specialists, because most AI requires a huge computing power, a series of computers, supercomputers, which only field experts had access to. But LLMs they designed a system which most people can use. Today, there are 4 GB of LLM model available by Facebook. You can feed your own data. Somebody was writing in a forum, they took some car manuals, put it into LLM, and they created a manual. You can ask questions about the features of the car, what it supports, which model, things like that. They could do it in few hours without being a domain-specific expert on the AI field. They're not professors of AI or something like that. So the main reason why we're talking about it is not just it is a revolutionary, but also it is more accessible for our regular use, which for most of the other AI models are far more complex, are only accessible to who have worked in AI for decades, right? So there are some opportunities I'll talk and some challenges. So first thing, there are opportunities which LLMs have made is it can talk like humans, it can understand human language. One of the key areas is there are 2 areas which has been used heavily, which is one is real-time language translations. Translation of the languages content is far more accessible and available to most users than it was earlier. And summarize the content. In fact, there are products like Microsoft Copilot that are available for subscription. Many corporate companies have subscription for that. If I go to the forum, there's 90% of the user. There was a recent survey in a forum. They asked 90% of the users said they use only for summarizing meeting what they missed, or they arrived late in the meeting. So most of the users are using mostly summarize what are happening in a meeting at the end of the meeting. Preparing the minutes of meeting becomes redundant there. So there are many other areas where it can be useful for, let us say, chatbots, which most of the chatbot I have used recently are mostly useless, whether insurance companies or banks or somewhere. You ask any question, they give some answers which are completely some links. It doesn't give anything. So if you give correct set of data with LLM, it can give chatbots can become much more useful. And also the content can be personalized. For example, if you're talking about library, you can have library rules. His actual what books he has borrowed in the past, those things can be fed and get much more personalized service. In fact, most of the services you use, not just YouTube, Netflix, or Spotify, or any other online service, they have personalization based on some kind of AI tool. But as a technologist, I work with many libraries where implement different technology. I think there are so much of technology available in the library itself which we don't use, and we talk of AI. There are many libraries I see, they don't even have a proper library system. They don't have a digital repository. and you don't have federated search. Now that getting a federated search where you have subscribed a lot of resources, half of your users are not aware that these are the subscription you have. If today you take out a survey, list out, do you have this, if you have list of the resources which you have subscribed, you give to your users, I assume at least 50% of them will not recognize half of it. So one of the one of the ways you can overcome that is having a federated search or some kind of discovery tool, like one presented by our sponsors, which is Nimbus. This is one of the tools. There are others as well, but this basically allows you to cover some of the content which users normally miss. And this is more important than simply using ChatGPT, because this is far more relevant to the research people are doing. You can also modernize OPACs with the user empowerment tool. I don't know how many libraries you can visit where users can log in and renew their books on their own, which is available in most library systems. Today, I see many libraries, they don't have this basic feature. So at least you should exhaust the available technology available to you before even you can attempt to go into AI or something like that. Digital repository, DSpace, is very important to archive your in-house publications. Those are also you should do. And I don't expect librarians to be technologists who will be able to do this on their own. So do these things on their own. They have to partner with vendors. There are vendors like Nimbus, and there are other people who you take services from. You should talk to them and get what AI, if you think something is important, talk to them and get it implemented in their platform. That will be the way to go for most libraries. And also learn from other fields, because if you look at simple library, other libraries, you will see what other libraries are doing. There's a confirmation bias, it will come. You will not get new ideas. New ideas you will get from different fields. So you should always explore what other industries are using for different purposes. So some challenges, like as I was discussing the other day, there is something called collective bias we get, because if you ask where you can use ChatGPT, if you ask ChatGPT where you can use, they'll basically cull information from all the publications has happened on this topic. They will give the essence of that. Not necessarily that is exhaustive. You have to read on your own and find out, or look at other fields, how they're using. That is where you get your new ideas, because you cannot expect this to give you new ideas what you can implement it. And also you cannot depend on tools like this for accuracy, because they are only giving what is available. They don't generate anything. When they try to generate something, it may make mistakes, which is called a hallucination problem. It can give you imaginary journal names when you ask for citations. It hallucinates. That's what they say. Then I was reading some forum, some programmers are ditching ChatGPT for coding help because it gives you some example which is imaginary, which doesn't exist, those functions. So those are the things you have to always verify. So as Professor Lancaster, who's in the Paperless Society earlier, once he visited DRTC when I was a student, he was complaining about something called Googleization of knowledge. That people go to Google to find what research for their study of subjects and all that, instead of going to the library, because they think it is easy to access. So they take the easy way out. I think we are seeing something similar, chatbotization of knowledge, we can call it, that we go to chatbots to find answers. You miss out on so much of research which has happened, which are available only through paywalls or closed access, which are accessible through platforms like discovery platforms like this, which your chatbots will not have access to it. Right? So speak to vendors. I just last 2 points. And also try to avoid marketing track, because more people talk of AI, more people will misuse it. Recently, there is a, if you Google it, you will get it. Bangalore to Mysore Expressway installed 60 AI cameras. Now, what is those? They are basically detecting speed traps. Now, those speed cameras are there for decades. So I asked Google, what are the AI features you have on those cameras? I couldn't find any answer. They're just speed cameras. But you see, there will be hundreds of news you will get. There are AI cameras. So you can charge more if you talk it is AI. So this happens everywhere. So try to avoid those marketing traps, and also look to enhance your existing services with AI rather than try to replace existing services with AI. That will be the final point. Thank you.
As we are running out of time, ran out of time, I can invite you only couple of questions, not more. And if you have more questions, don't allow the speakers to eat in the lunch time. You keep on shooting the questions to them. But can I invite just one or two questions from you to any of the speakers? Yeah, please.
So it's a situation that has been, it's a like general, not like particular already one of the, since you are expert in SQL and Python, you will be doing very well. The roles which you use, the queries you use SQL, the same thing, could it be possible in JPT? One thing. Second thing, the data normally is general, the word itself says generative AI. It is common thing which gives, whereas each and every person has his own assumptions and different cases. Does AI give the solutions to those people who need particular point of information, particular information to his own situation? And another thing, no, it's not linked to one question. It's sub question or a subtitle like. And another thing, already there are big gains in the digital libraries and like e-resource and all. They have their own algorithms, which gives a lot of content and outside, and which may not be relevant. And is the this relevance is possible with the AI? That's what I just wanted to know one or two things from your end, since you are expert in semantic web and many things. It's a small question. You can push in small. No, sir. So let them have more hunger by answering this thing. They'll have more food.
I think any of the panelists can answer. The first question is about SQL. SQL deals with the structured language, structured fields. Okay, but unfortunately, you cannot handle unstructured. That is the biggest problem. That's why we have data mining and text mining and all these areas. Okay, how to handle unstructured data on the net. That is where I think AI is fairly successful in handling unstructured data, because you require the data to be structured for the SQLs to answer. That is the first question. Another two questions I have forgotten one.
SQL is more for storing data and accessing security, control, and that is what it does. It has nothing to do with your analysis. The analysis is outside SQL. SQL is just used to how to extract data, how to store data. That's all about it. Nothing else.
I think one more question I can before we break for lunch. Please.
How can we address the information bias in AI tools?
That is what exactly he raised my question. Okay. How can we separate propaganda from the actual facts? But again, these are highly subjective. Basically, the problem with opinions, no, they are subjective. Whatever I see as a very good one, others may not good. Okay, that is diversity in the, which is good. Diversity is always leads to creativity, not that somebody imposing remove all diversity and one comes. That kills the creativity. So bias is a very difficult thing to tell somebody is biased. Only thing is, when I don't like you, I say you are biased. Okay. But again, whether that itself is objective, whether my charge, whether that is objective, is I think a very, very tricky thing. I think everybody,
I know it's my personal opinion. Since you are into digital libraries, there are many communities came up with the sharing of information and all these things in digital libraries and open source and all. So tomorrow we may expect some of the experts may form together and come out with reducing this bias. Is possible?
That's not it. The bias itself is intrinsically bad.
As long as there are humans, there is bias. We are trying to use humans like thinking in computers.
For example, I am an avid atheist. Okay, if anybody is atheist calls me, I say this is a bias. You are influenced by your religion.
Majority always matters from government.
Simple logic. So we are working on data. Our AI systems will work on data. And so you read what has gone the data into the kind of database which the AI is making use of, maybe for the whatever. So the data should be the credible data. The data should be authentic data. In that aspect also, partly libraries take the responsibility how to really provide the kind of data that should go into the. So if the database contains these kind of fictitious or false or fake or dubious information, avoiding the AI system to avoid that fake information and give you some information of your requirement is certainly.
Like the old adage, ego, garbage in and garbage out. So if internet is full of garbage, AI also produces garbage. But again, this garbage, there may be some people to like it. Because again, we are serving. Okay, with that, I thank all of you for your patience, and I think it is high time to have the delicious food of Hyderabad. Okay. And